2018 Golden Shield Heritage Awards, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great delight to invite to the stage one of the brightest gems right here from Kimberley. Please give it up for Mark Kotze, my co-host for tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be here. My name is Mark. We shared a funny thing that my name is actually literally an acronym. M stands for Mark, A, Anthony, R, Rowan, K, Kotze. And I'm honored to be here and sharing the stage with this beautiful and talented lady and product from our own country in the soil of South Africa. But if I look at the audience as I'm standing here, Lebo.
Yes.
Beautiful. Even the Lord, Modimo wa itse ga se mang le mang.
So let's get back to the business of the awards, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Heritage management is traditionally associated with government agencies being tasked with the responsibility to identify, interpret, maintain, preserve, and promote significant cultural heritage resources, as well as tangible heritage assets. The National Heritage Council, through the Heritage Awards, has successfully made individuals and communities realize that it's in our hands to protect, preserve, and promote our heritage.
I'm so honored that this year marks the 6th anniversary of the successful implementation of the Heritage Awards. For the past 2 years, since 2016, the NHC has partnered with both the Sol Plaatje municipality as well as the Northern Cape Provincial Department of Sports, Arts and Culture.
We will be honoring people from this province as well as heritage institutions and individuals who have preserved our culture and our heritage on a national scale and international scale as well.
Tonight we aim to honor those people, like Lebo has said, who has profusely pushed through and honored our culture. We're going to quickly move on to and officially calling upon Councillor Mpho Moshweu of the Sol Plaatje municipality to give us the welcoming address.
Today, it is the 3rd year of this particular Heritage Awards in partnership with the National Heritage Council in the relationship that started in 2016. Fellow South African, you will remember that our democratic dispensation is only 24 years old. In many public places, our country, monuments that you will find still reflects the old order. I don't need to emphasize the significance of this. When our relationship started 2 years ago, the purpose was to put our city on the map, whereby we too acknowledge the individuals, group, organization, academics, institution within our communities who continue to lift the flag of this particular city and who keep on continuing to show their talent of this particular city. The Golden Shield Awards, known as GOSHA, recognize individual groups, institutions who play part by promoting, protecting, and preserving our national rainbow heritage. The award recipients and the project reflects the best practice in promoting the heritage. The choice of Kimberley City in Sol Plaatje municipality is also significant in many ways. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome into the city of first. We hope and trust that we will leave a legacy with these particular awards. With those few words, you are welcome to the city that sparkles. Thank you.
I told the MMC when he was talking about these awards not going anywhere, that he was going to say, I put this 10 million, that these awards are not going anywhere. And that was going to be so gracious. And we were going to agree to that. But he fell short of demonstrating that. But anyway, I hope there's still a caucus somewhere for that to happen. But having said that, this is the 3rd year that these awards have been hosted here. And when I notice every time, these awards have been growing in leaps and bounds. Kuyabonakala into kubana icamagulu livumile. Amanyange alela uthula athi lento mayenzeke. kuba kaloku sithunuka amathambo obawu bethu emba xa sithetha ngolu hlobo. Our heritage is more than 4.2 billion years old. It doesn't start in 1652. I was asked by the media outside to say, what is important about these awards? And I said that these awards about knowledge about our own heritage. Salt Plaatje municipality. This municipality is named after a great giant that the young ones must actually know that if you talk about the expropriation of land without compensation, the man who stood without even going to school, actually, formal education, an organic intellectual, was Salt Plaatje. And Salt Plaatje differed with people who even went to school, academics, like Tiango Jabavu. Tiango Jabavu wrote in Mvoza Mansundu and said that black people don't have a problem with Land Act. And Salt Plaatje differed with him. But when he differed with him, he said, let's go to Grahamstown to interview people. And then when he went there, the academic Tiango Jabavu ran away. He didn't come. So he crossed from this side and went to the Eastern Cape to interview people. That is an example of an organic intellectual. And he wrote again in Mvoza Mansundu and said that I went to East London, I went to Grahamstown, and this man didn't come. And he interviewed people, the peasants, people who are working on the land. And people said, we don't want this Land Act. Now, when we talk about expropriation of land, we do not talk about the heritage of how the land was taken away, which is 150 years of anti-colonial wars. So these awards about that, because if you look at the people whom we're awarding, these are people with knowledge. This is a voice that has been silenced over years. People like Meya Masuku, who can tell you about African families, who can talk about social cohesion from an African point of view. Gone are the days now that we look at our own cultures and say that anything that is coming from the West is best. Like, xa sithetha umzekelo, abantwana xa bethenisa ngo-21 years, singena kwi-birthdays zasentshona, siyeke intonjane, siyeke ukuthomba, which is where the culture gets transferred. All of these, you'll find that we're taking from one side, which is the Western culture. Steve Biko, the man that on the 12th we were remembering, had mentioned that South Africa must strive for a joint culture, where we do not only celebrate that which comes from the West and forget about that comes from our own people. So these awards are about celebrating excellence. These awards are about decolonization of our own African heritage. These awards are about ensuring that there's continuity in our own heritage. You will see, for instance, the categories that actually come here. These awards are also about ensuring that we are able not only to celebrate heritage on the 24th of September of every year. Let's take a vow from tonight that we do not speak English with our own children. I'm therefore saying that the issue of African identity is important. I like Bro Kid, may his soul rest in peace, because he was rapping, but rapping in his own language. So this is a new challenge of identity that must actually come, that we cannot see ourselves from the point of view of America. These awards are about ensuring that heritage is important. They must be taught their own heritage. In so doing, thank you so much.
This Heritage Month, as we are celebrating our heritage and the hard work of our nation united in its diversity, we are also here to honor and recognize the contribution of individuals, groups, organizations, or academic institutions for the hard and good work being done to enhance and protect the heritage of our African soil. They are indeed the champions of our heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, in our midst here, We have men and women who are passionate in preserving, promoting, and transforming our African heritage. In their actions, they demonstrate that they hold the same view as our first democratically elected president, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, who would have celebrated his centenary birth this year. It is none other than Madiba who profoundly set the agenda of our transformation of the heritage landscape in South Africa. At the unveiling of the monument of Enoch Sontonga on Heritage Day on the 24th September 1996, Mandela said the following, and I quote, "When our first democratically elected government decided to make Heritage Day one of our national heritage days, we did so because we knew that our rich and varied cultural heritage has a profound power to help build our new nation." I close quote. In our midst this evening, we have unsung human treasures who we are going to acknowledge for their selfless efforts and talents. They are living treasures who are doing exceptional work in the African heritage sector. We seldom pay attention to the contribution made by these men and women in the socio-economic development of this country. One of the legislative policies which are directly linked to what we are celebrating here tonight as this auspicious award ceremony is the South African Living Heritage Policy. This is basically a policy which ensures that we reaffirm our African identity and restore the dignity of African people. However, the most significant and important aspect of this policy is to provide a platform for living human treasurers to be recognized and enable them to safeguard, protect, promote, and preserve living heritage. This evening, we are fortunate and blessed to have South Africans in our midst that are promoting and preserving a positive African heritage within a globalizing world. So to all the heritage pioneers who are continuously reaffirming and reclaiming our African identity and dignity, remember that you have elevated your life in the eyes of our forefathers.
I'd like to introduce to you tonight a unique group of women. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Boilombo Dance Group as they approach the stage. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin by awarding local luminaries who continue to remind us that the Northern Cape is a melting pot of vibrant cultures and the bedrock of our heritage. We will now announce special heritage awards as acknowledged by Sol Plaatje Municipality. One of the first awards goes to Miss Glynis Lynn de Munsa, Curator Project Manager at The Big Hole. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Miss Nosipo Mtabani. On behalf of Nosipo, she could not make it. We will give you the huge frame, but keep the check. And that award, ladies and gentlemen, goes out to Arts and Poetry. Put your hands together for Mr. Moses Maumapelo, African Cuisine Fusion Gardens. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the award goes to Mr. Vuyo Mayese, Visual Arts. There's a Nosipo, Vuyo, no Vuyo. Can we have his check and his prize, please? Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the award for cultural dance goes to Amandla Dance Teatro. We are going to ask you to hand these awards to the following recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, Mosadi wa Muafrika. Next up, our award goes to Jenny William Tume for preserving our indigenous plants heritage. Daniel Mabesegoro, Heritage Steward category.
My culture, our heritage, our Africanness. Give yourself a cultural applause.
Our first category is the preferred heritage destination.
The Big Hole, Kimberley. The Big Hole is a unique tourism facility not only in the Northern Cape, but also in the world. The Big Hole is the largest man-made hole in the world and has the world's largest diamond on display. It encompasses two distinct visitor attractions, namely the Diamond Rush and the Diamond World. Its Diamond World Visitor Center, which is world-class, is dedicated to documenting and sharing the history of diamonds from creation of to diamond mining, recovery, cutting, polishing, and finally retailing.
And of course, the winner is the Big Hole, Kimberley! Preferred heritage destination! And the Big Hole this evening receives a check to the value of 10,000 rands. Our next category is the Best Community Project.
Lesserton Methodist Church. The historic Lesserton Methodist Theological Training School is a prospective heritage site which has survived for 33 years from 1883 to 1916 and has produced some renowned alumni who were part of the liberation struggle of South Africa. Former presidents of the African National Congress, the ANC, Sefako Makgatho and Reverend Z.R. Mahabane were trained at the Methodist Church as reverends. It is of national importance, and we thank all those who have been involved in preserving the church's rich past and ensuring that the legacy remains alive, and to recognize the distinguished contributions and achievements of the alumni that have contributed to the liberation struggle of South Africa.
Congratulations to the Lesserton Methodist Church! The Best Young Heritage Activist.
Mr. Lekgotsa Peter Mbele. Lekgotsa Peter Mbele is a poet, author, and arts activist. His work includes outreach programs such as educating the youth, school pupils, and community members about their culture. Many of his initiatives have resulted in a community cultural carnival with participants wearing traditional attire, playing traditional music, and indulging in a tasty array of traditional food.
We've got two finalists in this category.
Ms. Tsolofelo Masechaba Mosala. Tsolofelo Mosala is a founder of the Azania Research Center, which aims to preserve African cultural heritage and use it as a tool of development. She has dedicated most of her life to being a leading young activist in identifying heritage sites for recognition. Her heroic works includes fighting for the spiritual mountains and caves as recognized heritage sites as they were under threat by a mining firm. She also writes literature in African languages, mainly poetry, and has previously received an award from the SABC in the category of short stories written in indigenous languages.
Our winner today, walking away with a check for 15,000 rands, is Miss Tulufelo Masechaba Musala. And of course, we honor our finalist, Mr. Lekutsa Peter Mbele, with 5,000 rands for his hard work. We thank you both. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next award for the evening, which is for the Liberation Heritage Steward.
Mr. Tiejo Shameja. Mr. Tiejo Shameja is involved in the preservation and promotion of heritage through the use of theatre as a channel to get his message across. He volunteers as a drama and dance coach as well as a Liberation Heritage Steward at the Onkgopotse Comprehensive School. His most noteworthy work is the theatrical production, which comprises the dramatization of the life of Onkgopotse Tiro and the commemoration of the youth uprising of June 16, 1976. He has also been involved in researching the heritage of South Africa's liberation struggle. Mr. Shameja's theatrical work teaches learners about the liberation struggles of South Africa and gives insights about activists who have made a contribution in the liberation of the country.
Please, a warm round of applause for Mr. Tiejo Shameja. Mr. Shameja this evening walks away with 15,000 rands, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to you, sir. We move on to our next category, which is academic excellence.
Dr. Hleze Kunju. Dr. Hleze Kunju uses the African language to promote African academic scholarship. He wrote his PhD thesis in isiXhosa and has been lauded as the first person to have accomplished this academic feat, receiving plaudits across the country. Dr. Kunju is a researcher, an author, a poet, and musician. Some of his works include translating English written books into African languages, such as Gcina Mhlophe's Have You Seen Zandile? He has also translated a musical offering by Dr. Bodina Makanaki entitled My Music, My Classroom. Bishop Makobe Makope. Bishop Makobe is a leading specialist in the field of heritage education. His outreach programs, through which he has engaged more than 1,000 youth, have been implemented in schools across the Gauteng province. He has published multiple publications that focus especially on heritage in Sesotho. Some of his work has been prescribed for reading in schools. Bishop Makobe's work includes the facilitation of workshops on heritage, a platform for pupils from grade 10 to 12. He also leads a traditional and cultural group called Kiba.
We have two finalists and we can only have one winner. This evening, the winner for the Golden Shield Heritage Award in the category of academic excellence is Bishop Makobe. Bishop Makobe walks away with a check for 15,000 rands. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next category, which is Heritage Corporate Citizen. And we have two finalists in this category. Let's meet them.
Miss Vushilo Padima. Miss Vushilo Padima's eye-catching design and craft products, which she successfully trades through social media platforms in order to reach a wider market, are made of natural resources such as clay and wood. She has trained and employed a number of passionate youth in her community in the creation of wide-ranging cultural craft. Most of the houses in her community, lodges and hotels have been decorated using her handcrafted designs. Her work can be found on a number of social media platforms under the trademark Corrector General Trading Dealer. She is thus self-employed and survives on the economic benefits from her art. Mr. Philip Tshepo Matloko. Mr. Philip Tshepo Matloko began drawing pictures at the age of 6. He studied art at the Kimberley Art Center, where he specializes and perfected his skills in wood crafting, charcoal, and oil painting. Mr. Matloko has traveled to Ethiopia to strengthen his skill of painting on animal skins under the leadership of world-renowned artist Captain Lema Guya, an opportunity that was at the time presented to him by the National Heritage Council in its efforts to identify and support talented young artists such as himself. He continues to paint and sell his products to both the public and private sector.
Our winner of the Golden Shield Heritage Award in the category of Heritage Corporate Citizen is Mr. Philip Tshepo Matloko, who walks away with a check for 15,000 rands. And of course, Ms. Buchilo Padima, we celebrate you and we honor you with a check for 5,000 rands. Thank you so much, sis. Now we honor Best Heritage Education. Let's meet our finalists.
Bathandwa Gwababa. Miss Bathandwa Gwababa is an author who was born and bred in Mdantsane. She has made a name for herself nationally, educating young and old on the diverse cultures and heritage of South Africa. Miss Gwababa has a structured program which she presents across the country to teach people about the rich cultures of South Africa. She is also the author of Creative Culture, The Heart and Soul of South Africa, a coffee table book detailing the country's rich cultural diversity and educating people on each one. The National Lottery has funded her to roll out her cultural educational program nationally. Dr. Johannes Leon Hatting. Dr. Hatting is a lecturer at the Central University of Technology within the Department of Tourism and Event Management. He has served as a manager of the Mangaung Tourism and Senqu Tourism respectively. Dr. Hatting has also been the chairperson for the Southern African Tourism Service Foundation and has served as a tourism grading assessor. His passion and interest in tourism development cannot be questioned, as the proof lies in his deeds. He has been responsible for taking domestic and international tourists to tours around Bloemfontein, sharing with them his sound knowledge of South African heritage. Among his achievements is the receipt of the Vice-Chancellor's Excellence Award for his community engagements in 2011.
And our winner of the Golden Shield 2018 in the category of Heritage Education. Please give a warm round of applause for Ms. Bathandwa Gwababa, who walks away with a check for 15,000 rands. And of course, we thank you, Dr. Hatting, for the beautiful work that you're doing, and we honor you with a check for 5,000 rands. Thank you so much. Can we give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And now we present the Golden Shield Award for 2018 for the Voice of Heritage.
Miss Nomatlao Johanna Mahlangu. Miss Nomatlao Johanna Mahlangu mentors young people on arts and culture. She is dedicated to imparting to the youth a sound understanding of their national cultural heritage and promotes cultural activities through traditional dance, clothing, food, and custom behavior. She has managed to expose talented South African artists to both the local and international markets. Nomatlao works with the GYC organization, whose annual event brings together up to 1,000 young people in a celebration of heritage through the arts and other cultural activities. Through the GYC initiative, Nomatlao also organizes an annual event called Game On Artpreneurs Unite and comprises the Game On Funding Seminar. Ma Naledzani Rambuda Nachirembe. Ma Naledzani is named the treasure of Vavenda due to her expertise in heritage education and unique understanding of indigenous knowledge systems. She has opened and runs the Vuchila Cultural School from her house, in which she has recruited 200 girls from different villages under her stewardship. Ma Naledzani has in addition opened branches of her school in various other communities, in which older women with the same indigenous knowledge are involved in dispersing of heritage education. The young girls who attend are encouraged to keep their virginity while learning about their tradition and culture. Her teachings include traditional culinary skills, cultural dance, indigenous music lessons, traditional behavioral and moral lessons, as well as poetry. Among her many achievements, Ma Naledzani has been recognized by the Department of Arts and Culture for her storytelling excellence.
And this year's winner of the Golden Shield in the category of the Voice of Heritage, ladies and gentlemen, is Ma Naledzani Nachirembe, who of course walks away with the grand prize of 15,000 rands. Allow me please, ladies and gentlemen, to call upon MMC Councillor Mushweu to come to the stage to explain to us why we are handing over this special Heritage Award and to whom we are giving this award as well.
These awards that we are going to hand over, it is for a special person that was very close to someone that advocates for the human rights, and this particular person was close to that leader, Mangaluso Robert Sobukwe. Ladies and gentlemen, this award goes to our own living icon, Brascola.
We have a special award, ladies and gentlemen, for a person with a disability. We honor their dedication to the promotion and preservation of heritage. And this award goes to Alina Tandiwe Mfulo. So we acknowledge you and appreciate you and send you love in absentia. And we move on to the National Living Treasure Award.
Dr. Thomas Chauke. Dr. Thomas Chauke is one of the most recognized traditionalists in South Africa and beyond the borders. He has been in the music industry since the early 1980s and has produced some widely loved albums, including his greatest hits, Shimatsatsa and Nyoresh. Because of his outstanding legacy of promoting and preserving heritage through his soothing, educational, socially conscious, and all-round impressive repertoire of songs, Dr. Thomas Chauke fits perfectly well in all 6 categories. Moreover, he continues to play a big role in the preservation and conservation of Xitsonga culture and heritage. Mr. Jonas Gwangwa. Jonas Gwangwa, born Jonas Musa Gwangwa, has played an influential role in the evolution of South African jazz. A member, along with jazz pianist Abdullah Ibrahim, then known as Dollar Brand, of the Jazz Epistles, the first black South African to release an album. Gwangwa has gone on to become an award-winning composer. When the South African government passed laws making it illegal for blacks to congregate in the early 1970s, Gwangwa left his homeland. Gwangwa was able to successfully break through to American audiences. Continuing to break new ground as a composer and arranger, Gwangwa served 10 years as musical director of the ANC Cultural Ensemble Tour Amandla. Gwangwa returned to South Africa in 1991.
In this category, both of our finalists are national living treasures, and therefore both of our finalists are winners. Dr. Chauke, we thank you so much for being with us this evening. Unfortunately, Ntate Gwangwa couldn't be with us this evening, but we send him love and gratitude for all of the work that he's done over the many decades to preserve our culture and our heritage. Both Dr. Chauke and Ntate Gwangwa walk away with 15,000 rands, and our eternal gratitude for the beautiful work that you have done in the field of music, arts, culture, and heritage. We thank you and celebrate you. Almost last but not least is the category of Ubuntu Awards. Can we find out, please, who our finalists are?
Mrs. Nontsikelelo Biko. Mrs. Nontsikelelo Biko has been selected as a finalist in the Ubuntu Honors category for her role in the liberation struggle, especially after the passing of her iconic husband, the late Black Consciousness Movement leader, Mr. Stephen Steve Bantu Biko. Mrs. Nontsikelelo Biko initiated the formation of the Steve Biko Foundation, in which she continues to realize the yet unfulfilled dreams of wholly liberating the mind of the black child, as in the legacy of the visionaries like her late husband Biko. Her selfless and tireless work is realized through the Steve Biko Center, a world-class learner center which serves as the beacon of hope for the rural communities in and around King Williamstown and surrounding villages. Mongana Lonene FM. Formerly known as Radio Tsonga, Mongana Lonene FM is a South African Broadcasting Corporation radio station broadcasting the Tsonga language in South Africa. In Tsonga, Mongana Lonene means a true friend. Mongana Lonene FM is geared to listeners who understand Chitsonga. Its commitment to the preservation and promotion of the Chitsonga language is reflected through its programming, which provides a mixture of news, music, current affairs, talk shows, education, sport, weather, and traffic. The music repertoire consists of jazz, R&B, kwaito, house, gospel music, and African music. The station hosts the annual Chitsonga Music Awards, an event that celebrates indigenous Chitsonga music.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, both of our finalists in this category are also winners. Can we please give a warm round of applause for Mrs. Nontsikelelo Biko and also for Mongana Lonene FM for the wonderful work that they have done. And now, because Mrs. Nontsikelelo Biko is a person, she will be receiving 15,000 rands. And because Mongana Lonene is an institution, a non-physical being or entity, they will be receiving 10,000 rands. But they are both winners in this category. Can we please celebrate them? Our final award for this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Let's find out who our winner is.
Dr. Mongane Wale Serote. Dr. Mongane Wale Serote, born 8th of May 1944, is a South African poet and writer. He became involved in political resistance to the apartheid government by joining the African National Congress, and in 1969 was arrested and detained for several months without trial. He subsequently spent years in exile, working in Botswana and later London, England, for the ANC in their Arts and Culture department, before eventually returning to South Africa in 1990. In 1993, he won the Noma Award for Publishing in Africa. He has served as chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee for Arts and Culture and was also the CEO of Freedom Park, a national heritage site in Pretoria, opened in 2007. He sits on a few advisory boards in the country dealing with arts and culture, indigenous knowledge, and the African Renaissance issues.
Please, can we give a heartfelt, warm round of applause for our Golden Shield Lifetime Achievement Award winner for 2018, Dr. Mongane Wali Serote. Of course, Dr. Serote, as a winner this evening, receives a check for 15,000 rands as well.
Let us remember that our freedom was not free. Many, many, many young men and women, many, many old men and women paid with their lives so that we are a free people.
Of course, we know that this year is the 100th anniversary of Albertina Sisulu. And we also know that this year we lost another powerhouse in the form of Nomzamo Winnie Madikizela Mandela. So we have a very special tribute that we would like to pay to them at this point. Please, can we present that and unveil it to the people?
What Lemaguya does, he administers paint on a goat skin. Oh. He did it for Mama Winnie Mandela last year.
Wow.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Oh, that is beautiful.
We congratulate all of the winners, all of the finalists. We appreciate the work that you are doing. We hope that this is just a small token of gratitude for you to continue and to understand that the work that you're doing is meaningful, it is impactful, it matters, it will matter for generations and generations to come.
Politicians are worried about the next elections. But statesmen, they are worried about the next generation. In terms of these awards, when you think about SAMA, South African Music Awards, you think about Sun City. We want to give a challenge to the province of Northern Cape. Why don't you take Gosha to be your award? Why don't you take Gosha to be Kimberley Award?
No, man, these awards must stay here. And they are staying now here. Hey, tada! Hey, tada! Thanks, NHC Siyabonga.